The monsters are in a frenzy, with their potential victims standing before them. Then, a bluish glow appears among them. Jaren had arrived to take down the creatures. He drove his foot into the face of the first one. Staying what had just happened, the onlookers were stunned. The monster had been easily subdued. Jaren was focused and determined not to let the beasts attack innocent people. He didn't live back at the crowd asking what they were still doing there. He ordered them to run immediately. He had dealt with this type of monster before. The ones with a single horn should be that hard to handle. As he thought this, he had to instantly focus again. A motorcycle was coming straight toward him. He barely dodged it. He quickly realized who had done it. It could only be a joke horn horror with 2 horns. As the beast came closer to him, it was met with a devastating kick. However, the result wasn't what he expected. Jaren had to step back. The lifespan of these monsters is between 5 and 6 years. Most of them die before they have a chance to grow second horn. But some manage to, about 8% of the total, they live longer and can reproduce. Not only is their strength increased, but it's beyond anything considered normal. Even though it's strong and fast, it's nothing he can't overcome if he needs to kill this beast. With his foot aching, he knows the biggest problem is their durability. Compared to the idiot who said he was a tank, these guys are at least 3 or 4 times tougher. If only he had one of the pieces of equipment he uses for work. The beast prepares to attack the boy once again. However, Jaren dodges the blow, witnessing the destruction caused by it. At a distance, he regains his position to continue the fight. The beast doesn't seem satisfied with the destruction it's already caused. Jaren starts scanning his surroundings. On the ground, there's a broken stop sign. Thinking quickly, he stomps on the sign, crushing it. That way, he manages to extract the sign's pull, which is similar to a staff. The monster charges at him again, furious. Emanating his aura, Jaren braces for impact now armed. He tightens his grip, focused. The beast stomps harder than expected. This gave it a huge boost of momentum, and it soared over Jaren's head. That wasn't what he had anticipated from the creature. Now, the beast is close to where several innocent people are gathered. They are completely terrified, unable to do anything to protect themselves. The beast charges at them, ready to make a snack out of them. The difference in danger between 2 and 3-star monsters is simply enormous. In terms of destructiveness, both of these monsters are already beyond human capabilities. Normal people have no choice but to be killed by these beasts. Even an experienced adventurer without proper equipment might struggle with them. However, there is one exception to this situation. The foreigner managed to catch the beast's punch with his bare hand. He's definitely determined to fight. With a single blow, he pushed the beast away. This is the exception. Those who have trained their superhuman bodies to the limit become monsters themselves. The beast digs its claws into the ground to prevent being pushed further by the impact. The foreigner managed to push it back, but he knows that without a weapon, he won't be able to deal any real damage. However, something caught his attention. The beast warded menacingly at him. From behind, Jaren approached with his improvised staff. Using his techniques, he delivered a precise strike to the back of the creature's neck. The foreigner was surprised by the result. The beast fell lifeless with a puncture wound in its back. Jaren sighed in relief after the fight. A loud noise drew his attention. The sound piqued the foreigner's curiosity as well. Nearby, a powerful explosion had occurred. And just a single minute, the beast said, cause all that destruction. The foreigner remarked that it would take a few more minutes before help arrived. A sudden event like this is unexpected, and people are dying while they talk. Heel King knows how to use a taunting ability. Every tank knows it. He essentially shouts at high frequency, attracting nearby monsters toward him. Determined to become an adventurer, he plans to draw the monster's attention until help arrives. He told Jaren to find shelter, as he doesn't know how to ask him to risk himself, especially since they barely know each other. All they've done so far is play games together for a few hours. However, Jaren told him to give the shout already. He imagines the guy must be a tank and knows how to use the skill. But Heel King says it's dangerous and Jaren replied that he was planning to do it alone anyway. If he were alone, he'd consider the possibilities, but he isn't. He told Heel King that he's good at games, especially when it comes to protecting. Besides, he also wants to be an adventurer, and if he's going to try, he'll do the best he can. There's no time to keep talking like this. It's time to act. A shop is completely destroyed. A person is hiding under the counter. Behind them, the monster and just killed an innocent bystander. The tank prepares to use his skill. In the store, the beast threw the limp body to the ground. Then it began tearing apart the counter to reach its next victim. At that moment, the tank's shop echoed. Its effect reverberated through the area, drawing the monster's attention. Immediately, the beast stopped its attack. The person was about to kill was left confused. The girl responsible for the incident also heard the shout. She's intrigued by what might have happened. After using his skill, the tank caught his breath. Assuming an offensive stance, he was ready to fight the monsters that would appear. It didn't take long for them to gather at the epicenter of the shout. The strongest of them pointed in the boy's direction, but one horned monster charged toward the attack. He stood ready prepared to fight as well, but then he heard a noise above him. A monster was approaching from his blind spot, but he managed to block the incoming blow. It wasn't enough to hurt him. With his other hand, he began concentrating his aura. And with a devastating strike, he sent the beast flying. However, it wasn't over yet, and he couldn't afford to get distracted. More monsters were advancing ready to attack simultaneously. In the distance, the two-horned monster heard something happening. There was someone else nearby and they were coming from above. Jarang descended, landing near the beasts. There were two of them, each with two horns on their heads. Looking at the crashed truck, he wondered what was going on there. They were gathering the bodies of the dead in the truck. That's why there weren't so many bodies scattered on the street. Now the two horned ones were moving to attack him. Jarang waited for them to get a little closer. They're fighting up close and without equipment. The odds are low. In the current situation, it's easier for them to get each other's way than to help each other. So he would focus on drawing the weaker monsters since he was the tank. Jarang was closer and now was his turn to attack. His task was to take down the strongest one since he was the damaged specialist. His improvised staff was ready to strike again. He moved so quickly past the monster that it didn't even realize had been hit, but there were several marks on his body when the staff had struck. Compared to a needle, this was much weaker. If Jarang had his usual staff, things would have been very different. With the staff made of ordinary materials, there's not much he can do. Even so, he's doing his best to fight. Although it's not the same, he's aware that there's a chance. That time Zeke fought him barehanded and despite a few fast and powerful strikes, none were overwhelming. Yet those hits slowly wore him down. Now the monster was in mid-attack. Quickly, Jarang managed to fend it off with rapid strikes. He knows this won't stop the beast's attack, so he dodges the ongoing blow. Even the smallest mistake here would cost in his life. He strikes again swiftly. This is a unique opportunity for him despite the danger. A chance to grow even stronger. He needs to seize this moment and come out victorious with whatever he has at his disposal. Another beast approaches ready to attack. But in his mind, he remembered Zeke's evasive movements during their fight, and he managed to emulate similar moves. After his father, this was the first time he had encountered someone as strong. With this experience, he perfected his fourth skill. The rain of staff hitting the monster in front of him multiple times. After being brutally struck, the beast falls to the ground. However, unexpectedly, one of the creatures grabs his foot. This immediately puts him on edge. The monster threw him down, shattering the concrete. Jarang spits out blood after the violent impact. 2 against 1 is a tricky situation. Even though it's not fair, he has no choice. This isn't a fight between humans. So things can be different. Before he could react, the tank arrived, repelling the monster. To the tank, luck is